Hello, hello. I am Coach Cori Sartori. I empower high achieving women to grow in their self love, confidence, and relationships for a more fulfilling personal life. If you've been watching me this week, you know my big announcement about my new program, Complete Balance for High Achievers. And I'm excited to talk to you today about how to make decisions with confidence because this is something that we talk about in my program. And the reason that I wanted to share with you some tips today on how to make decisions with confidence is because this is something that pretty much almost all of my clients I've worked with, at least recently, have struggled with. And they're all high achieving women, right? They are high achievers in their finance field, HR, real estate agents, sales. Like I have some really high achievers that I'm working with. And so they slay at making decisions at work. But when it comes to their personal life with their relationships or just their own things that they're going through, they struggle to make decisions. And so today I wanted to share with you 4 tips and ideas on how to make decisions with confidence. And I know how powerful it can be when you feel good about a decision you've made. And so I really feel good about these tips and I know that they're going to add value to your life. So if you are ready, grab a pen and paper and I will dive in and share with you 4 tips on how to make decisions with confidence. So let's get started. So the first one I want to offer you is to set a deadline for your decision. So say today's Wednesday and you have a big decision that you have to make by Monday. Give yourself maybe until Saturday to make the decision. So you're giving yourself a buy-in date. By this time, I'm going to make my decision, right? Because if you sit with it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks or days and days and days, you just overthink about it. You go back and forth. It causes you stress. It causes you to feel anxious. And so by giving yourself a buy-in date of I'm going to make the decision by this date, it doesn't allow you to go back and forth, right? Okay, today's Wednesday. I'm making my decision by Saturday. Make the decision and then move on. Because when we sit with the decision, right, when we think about, should I make this or should I make this? We just overthink about it and it causes us to feel overwhelmed. And so give yourself a buy-in date to make a decision. The second thing I want to offer you in making decisions with confidence is to make a pros and cons list. And this is such a dad thing. This is the thing that my dad would always say to me. And I'd be like, Dad, I have a really big decision to make. Can you help me? And he'd be like, Cori, you need to sit down and make a pros and cons list. And I would just be like, ugh. But it always helped me. And I'll give you an example. So a couple years ago, I called my dad. I had a job offer from another company and I was already doing really well where I was. And I knew, and at that time I was running my business, Mars Holistic Wellness, part-time. But I had another company come to me and they offered me a higher paying job with more opportunity to grow. And I just couldn't decide, right? So I called my dad. My dad said, sit down and make a pros and cons list. And so I sat down, I made my pros and cons list. And it really helped me get clear on what will add value to my life, what decision would add value. And that was really beneficial. And so I know you've heard this before. Maybe your dad has also shared this with you, is to make a pros and cons list. So when you have big decisions in your life, make a pros and cons list. The next thing that I want to offer you is think about which option is supportive of your long-term goals. And so I'll take the example of making this decision about the career, right? The career choice a couple years ago. So I had the option to stay where I was, which I was really happy where I was. I loved my team. I loved the people I worked with. I loved my bosses. I loved what I was doing. And so when this other company came to me with more money, I was like, oh, right? Nobody's going to be saying, nobody's like, oh, money, gross. I was like, okay, what do I do? And so when I thought about my long-term goals, so I was running my business part-time. I was running Mars Holistic Wellness. I was life coaching part-time, but I was working full-time, right? And so if I had gone to this other job, what would have ended up happening was I would have ended up working more hours. And I know myself, I'm a high achiever, right? When I start working somewhere, I hustle. And so I would have quickly moved up the ladder. But my goals for my life were to run my business, run my life coaching business full time, which now I'm doing. I'm so grateful. And I also wanted to be present for my son. So at the time, my son was, I want to say he was maybe 2 years old, maybe 1. And I just wanted to be present in his life, right? I didn't want to be working 40 to 60 hours a week for somebody else and not be there to watch my son grow up. And so when I thought about my long-term goals and where I saw myself, it helped me make the decision of like, I'm going to stay where I'm at because I'm happy, right? You don't need to like fix something that's not broke. And I know that I won't have to be working more than 40 hours. And that was really important to me. I would still be able to run my business, my life coaching business on the side. So I thought about my future. I thought about where I wanted to go. I thought about my future goals, and that helped me make a decision. So that's the third tip I want to offer you. And then the fourth thing, the last thing that I want to share with you today is project into the future and imagine how you will feel about your choice. So if you think about, here's my decisions. I can make this decision or this decision. How am I going to feel in 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years when I make this decision? And let me give you an example for this. So I dated a lot. And I knew probably around the time I was 32 or 33, I was like, okay, I definitely want to get married and have some kids. And as I was dating, when I would meet somebody, like I was very straight up. I'm very much like, this is what I want. Like, these are my goals. This is what I want. I want to get married and have kids. And if I really like the guy, right, like you're so excited in a new relationship and you love the attention, but if they didn't have the same goals, right? If I'm dating a guy and he says, I don't want to get married or have kids, for me, that was like, okay, well, I'm out of here, right? In the moment, it felt good to be appreciated. And yes, we could have dated longer, but why? That's just wasting my time. I knew what I wanted. And so I had to think about, okay, if I make the decision to continue dating this guy, right? It could go on for months, years, whatever, you never know. But if I choose to be with this person because it's fun right now in this moment, then that's going to hold me back from having the things that I want in my future. And so I dated a lot of guys. If they didn't have the same values as I did, if they didn't want the same things as I did, I let it go and I didn't waste my time. And I'm so grateful for that because now I'm married to my best friend and I have this amazing child who's turning 4 years old tomorrow. I'm like, oh my gosh, my son's 4. But I'm so grateful. Like I get to have this amazing life because I thought about what I wanted for my future and how the decisions I made in the moment then would affect me. And so those are the 4 tips, ideas I want to share with you in making decisions with confidence. And so I'll quickly review. The first one is to set a deadline and stick to it. So give yourself a by-when date of when you're going to make your decision. The second thing is make a list of pros and cons. We get your piece of paper, line down the middle, pros, cons, like write it out. The third thing is which option is most supportive of your long-term goals. So think about where you want to be in a year, 5, 10, is how's the decision going to support those long-term goals? And then the fourth tip is project into the future and imagine how you will feel about the choice. So if you think, in a 6 months, year, 3 years, how will I feel about this decision? And I challenge you, maybe make those 4 tips that I gave you today your decision-making process. Going through each step will really help you make a decision that you are confident about and a decision where you won't have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so I hope that those tips added value. Again, I'm so excited to be launching my new program, Complete Balance for High Achievers. This is an amazing program for women that just want more balance in their life. So maybe you're crushing it in your field. Maybe you're crushing it in sales, real estate. Maybe you're just a mom that is crushing it at motherhood. You're making sure your kid is at the play dates. You're running around. You're doing all of these things and you just don't feel like you have balance. You don't feel like you're putting yourself first. You're not making yourself a priority. And so this program, Complete Balance for High Achievers, is for you. We dive into so many amazing things. We talk about self-love. We talk about confidence. We talk about decision making. We'll talk about how to have less stress, less fear, worry, doubt. So there's so many amazing, powerful things in this course. I'm so excited for this program. Like, it is going to transform your life. So if you are ready to have balance, if you are ready to have more self-love, confidence, if you just want to have a life that you love, then this course is for you. This program is for you. So send me a DM today. I only have 4 spots for March and I think about 2 of them are already taken. So I'm going to say I have 4 spots until those people say for sure, but I know that this program is life-changing. So if you are ready to start, send me a DM with the word program. We'll get connected. And I'm just excited to share it with you. I'm excited to share these tips with you. And I hope they added value to your day. And I hope they add value to your life. Thank you for being a part of my community and showing up. Have an awesome week.